Which had more, first one or second one?
I think the first one because of also of our teammates.
Yeah,
Came
so a lot
along.
of our team on there. Yeah, no, I've got a session tomorrow. I know. Do you have session tomorrow too?
No,
No.
that's
So
that's it for me.
you're just gonna be attending?
Yeah, I'm gonna be attending. Yes, looking forward actually to
Yeah.
absorb knowledge
Yeah.
from other people.
We have a team dinner tonight. Are you gonna be
Yeah, of course.
See, that run kicked my butt this morning.
Really?
This is the first time I've ever ran a 5K.
Wow.
I'm not a runner.
Okay.
I just did it because, I was East Coast time, I was awake, and I was like, well, I sit here and look at my phone for the next 3 hours, or do I
Yeah,
go
you
for a
should actually pick up the habit now.
Yeah, I just haven't. Well, one, I don't have a good. I don't know if I do it by myself. My wife tries to get me to go to the gym. I don't like treadmill running. I play hockey.
But why don't you go outside?
I don't know.
You should have space outside. I
Oh, we've
mean,
got plenty of space. We have a beautiful trail right next to
exactly,
our house.
right? So
It's like paved
why are
trail.
you even talking about the treadmill?
I don't know. I just always maybe it's you know what I liken it to? When I was in my 20s, I swore I would never like country music.
Mm.
I was a metalhead rocker.
Right,
You're
right,
never
right,
gonna
right.
get me to listen to country. And then in my 30s, I was like, I heard a few songs that my wife listened to. I was like, you know what? I kind of like.
I get what you mean.
I'm getting to like that. It's
Yeah.
like now I'm like, there's a few albums we listen to. There's a few bands my wife and I both like, and I've softened on my anti-country stance. I think running might be a similar thing.
I believe so.
I convinced
Yeah.
myself in my younger years, like if there's no goals to be scored, then I'm not playing it.
It's beautiful, especially in nature. I think you would start loving it.
Yeah. Well, this morning I was not equipped. I did not have the right gear.
That's fair enough.
But
maybe 5 is it's too much. Go for 2-3 kilometers and then
yeah,
ramp up little by little.
didn't seem like it would be that much. Like I've run before. I just have never run a 5K, and I play hockey, so that's a high interval, high intensity. My heart rate's up and peaking at 178, 180. So it's not like I'm not athletic or I'm in terrible shape. A little bit of a beer gut, but that's
Okay, and then it's done. Then
I just
pick the trail marathon for next year. We are gonna run it together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay. Well, give me some time. I can't commit too early. But thanks for chatting, Emilio. Like, really, very simply, this is just a casual conversation. We'll get you jacked at AWS. I know you were talking about some stuff today it seemed really interesting, and I want to be kind of clear. You had to talk today on coding agents versus tools agents.
Yeah.
Maybe in like very basic terms, describe the difference between what you would say is a code agent.
Yeah, absolutely. They are practically different action paradigms in the sense that a tool invocation is typically one action from the agent that has to build effectively all the function invocation and then receive back as an observation all the output of this invocation.
Okay. So there's a tool, the agent or the model calls the tool, gets all of the information back.
Exactly.
Okay.
And instead, a CodeAct, typically used by a code agent, is doing plain function invocations.
Okay.
And from a function, you typically can receive back, very structured objects. It could be, for example, a pandas data frame. And so imagine, for example, a tool for invoking a database, right?
Yeah.
The most naive implementation of such a tool would return all the rows that you get from the query, right?
Sure.
It will have all to enter the LLM context. It will burn all these, input tokens for the LLM effectively to read these longer output context. And then for the next tool invocation, probably the LLM will have to copy some of the data from this observation back in the next tool invocation.
Right.
But if you get a very structured object back from a function like a pandas data frame, in many situations you could pass directly the data frame to some, analysis function that is going to return some statistical information about that data set,
Got it.
that data frame in particular. And so these can save a lot of input tokens, latency. If you have a CodeAct where you practically concatenate all these function invocations in a single code action,
Yeah.
you're going to save, latency. You're going to save input tokens, output tokens, and you will have a reduced latency.
So I have a couple thoughts. So I think I understand. So rather than getting this natural language query, it responds back, which consumes tokens in your context window. Then you have to pass that on to the next tool invocation, and then very quickly your context window starts to degrade, and because it fills up quickly. And then there's latency because you're sending unnecessary context in the next tool invocation. So this is just a way to kind of efficiently pass information between function calls. Is it analogous? Analogous? I can't say that word. And
Analogous?
yeah. It's late in the day
Yeah,
for
yeah,
anybody
yeah.
that's watching. Do functional programming? Do you remember functional programming where you pass functions
It's
into
more
functions?
literally the analogous to programming in general,
Oh,
in the
okay.
sense that if
You're passing variables
as a
around.
human, if you had to run, I think it's a bit like if you want like writing a notebook or having a interpreter, Python interpreter session.
Yeah.
In the sense that if you want to extract, if you want,
Like a Jupyter notebook.
yeah, exactly. Imagine what is the task, right? That could be for an agent or for a human. Typically, you have on data,
Right.
right? And so the task is extracting the information that is going to ground your answer.
Right.
And the point is that if you have multiple databases, multiple tables, there are going to be a lot of intermediate results that can be thousands and thousands of lines that then you might want to join from different databases, different data sets. But in the end, you will want to to run a bit of analysis on these, for example, pandas data frames. And then you will extract just that statistical information that you needed about the data, like the correlation between two quantities in two different tables. And finally, you will ground your answer just on that final
Data set
analysis information.
So then can you do much larger analysis because you're much more efficient in your context window? You can get more data into the context window. And then do you use these together? Like you would use a coding agent to sort of ground the data aspects of it, and then you could use a tools agent to do other aspects of things. So there's no reason you couldn't use
The point
both.
is that you can initialize a code agent with some information about how to enrich the Python interpreter, for example, and a set of tools, right?
Yeah.
So you can have a single agent that is, capable of using both.
Yeah.
In the best possible way.
That's cool. And this, you developed this code. Is this available?
Yes,
that folks can
absolutely.
go
It's a
download?
library that you can keep. It's a strands-code-agent.
Okay. Oh, so you just a Python library you can install. It's on the major repositories. You can go or package libraries, and you can go download it. We'll have to include a link in this clip where people can just check it out. So that's a really cool. I only caught briefly the session that you were talking about. It sounded really smart, and it seemed like it was going to help people, and the people that were in the room seemed really engaged in it. So I'm excited to see how people using that methodology, that approach, and then seeing what kind of problems they're solving. But that's not all you're talking about this week. And today, PaceCon's a learning day. We've been talking all day about what we're learning. What are you excited to learn about? Like, where's your focus? What gets you jacked right now at AWS?
Right. So the next topic I'm most excited about would be auto research. I went actually to a talk, one of our colleagues that worked on an auto research problem. His talk was particularly about how to optimize a computer vision pipeline for a particular problem.
Yeah.
And I think it was extremely fascinating in the sense that some of the ideas that the agent tried out in hundreds and hundreds of experiments, it would have been difficult for a human team that typically is slower at running new experiments to find out. So they ended up, with this very highly optimized computer vision pipeline that got into it certain optimizations that were a bit surprising. And after the fact, once these optimizations got discovered, you understand why they are working. But getting these loops where effectively the LLMs can try to improve a system, trying different ideas, running experiments, and
without ever getting fatigued.
exactly, because there is so much bookkeeping when you run experiments, right? You have to remember exactly what were the starting conditions. You have to catalog all the outputs and very timely, and you have to keep track of everything you have run so far, what worked and what didn't. And at a certain point, in the sense, you become a bit overloaded as an applied scientist, for example.
The human context window overloads, and then you can't really do anything.
Yeah. And apparently, we can see that the LLMs are extremely efficient on that. And I think this paradigm could be applied to so many different domains, in engineering and biotech, obviously machine learning, but so many. And it's all about driving these experiments that is a computing problem, right? And AWS seems pretty good at that.
Yeah, that does seem really exciting. Like the idea that you could scale experimentation rapidly without fatigue and try so many different things in parallel and then achieve the most optimum result for some problem that you're trying to solve. Which is if you think about it, it's a cool opportunity to sort of say, hey, I'm not the bottleneck's no longer me. I'm just gonna run in parallel all these experimentation. And in fact, we've talked about that on this podcast before. We had a Juan Villa, principal engineer in our team, or our broader team, talking about how they experiment at scale. And he gave a relatively low number of examples, but it seems to me like you're talking you're like not just 3 to
In
hundreds.
this particular example, it did run 400 experiments, roughly 400 experiments in I think a couple of days.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so we've got more conference to go. This is only day 3. We've got more sessions tomorrow. One of the things that I love about doing these internal AWS conferences, not just the cool technical content that we get to experience, but just like the hallway conversations with people that we're working with peers across all over the world, working on cutting edge stuff at AWS. And so it's just cool to talk with really smart people who are working on really cool problems. You're one of those people. So it's just a pleasure to get down and sit down and talk to you. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching, and a very special thanks to our guests for joining. Hey, if you want to stay in the know on what specialists at AWS are doing, make sure you grab a Builder ID if you haven't already, and join our space on Builder Center, where we'll be posting almost all of our content exclusively. We'll also have show announcements on X, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and we'd love to hear what you think and what you're working on. Until then, I'm Farmer Todd, and I'll see you out in the field.